Deep in the ancient lands of Moab, a man took his final breath. He had led an entire nation out of slavery, stood before Pharaoh, and walked in the presence of God himself. He had seen the Red Sea split in two and witnessed fire descend from Mount Sinai. This man was Moses, the great prophet of Israel. But when he died, something strange happened. Something that would remain one of the most mysterious events in biblical history. There was no funeral, no mourning crowd, no resting place marked with honor. Instead, the Bible tells us in Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 5-6, "So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, as the Lord had said. He buried him in a valley in Moab, but to this day, no one knows the exact place. God himself buried Moses, in complete secrecy. But why? Because in the unseen realm, another figure was watching. Lucifer, the fallen angel, the prince of darkness, was waiting for this moment. Moses' body was not left alone. Satan came for it, and that's when the heavens shook. A mighty warrior descended from above. Michael, the Archangel of God, stood between Satan and his prize. And in that moment, a battle began. Not with swords, not with spears, but with authority and power beyond human understanding. This is the untold story of what Michael did to Lucifer over the body of Moses, a hidden mystery buried for over 3,000 years. Welcome to Bible Stories, where we uncover the hidden mysteries of the Bible and reveal the truth buried in ancient scriptures. If you love deep biblical revelations and untold stories, make sure to like, share, and subscribe this video. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful revelation. Stay with me, because in this video, we will uncover why Lucifer wanted Moses' body, what Michael did to stop him, and what this mysterious battle means for us today. To understand this intense battle between Michael and Lucifer, we must first go back in time, to the final moments of Moses' life. Moses, the great leader of Israel, the man who spoke with God face to face, had completed his mission. He had led the Israelites through 40 years in the wilderness, had seen miracles beyond human comprehension, and had guided a rebellious people toward the promised land. But despite all his faithfulness, Moses was not allowed to enter Canaan. Why? Moses had died. His body lay in a secret place hidden from the eyes of men. But in the unseen realm, an even greater spiritual war was taking place, one that remains a mystery to many to this day. The Bible gives us only a glimpse of the supernatural event in Jude chapter 1, verse 9. But Michael the Archangel, when he disputed with the devil and argued about the body of Moses, did not dare pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." At that moment, two mighty forces collided. On one side stood Michael, the Archangel, God's warrior, the protector of his people, the commander of the heavenly armies. On the other side stood Lucifer, the fallen cherub, once the most beautiful and powerful angel in heaven, now the prince of darkness, the accuser and the deceiver of mankind. But why was Satan even arguing over Moses' body? Satan is called the accuser of the brethren in Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. His entire strategy is built around one thing: finding legal grounds to claim souls for himself. And Moses, despite being one of the greatest prophets, was still a man born under sin. The Bible tells us in Romans chapter 3, verse 23, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Moses was no exception. Lucifer saw his past sins and believed it gave him the right to take his body. He had killed an Egyptian in anger. Exodus chapter 2, verse 12. He had disobeyed God by striking the rock instead of speaking to it. Numbers chapter 20, verse 11-12. Because of this, Moses was forbidden from entering the promised land. Lucifer might have stood before Michael, pointing to every failure, every flaw, every mistake in Moses' life. "This man is mine," Lucifer might have declared. "He sinned. He disobeyed. He deserves death." But Michael, the warrior of heaven, stood firm. But what did Lucifer really want? Some biblical scholars believe Satan wanted Moses' body for something far more dark: deception. Imagine if Satan had taken Moses' body and used it to deceive the Israelites. He could have animated it, making it appear as though Moses had returned from the dead. He could have used it to lead Israel into false worship, causing them to create a new golden calf in Moses' honor. He could have planted lies that Moses had somehow gained divine power outside of God. Israel had a long history of turning to idolatry whenever they lost a leader. After Moses left to meet with God, they built a golden calf, Exodus chapter 32, verse 1 to 6. After great miracles, they still worship Baal and other false gods, Judges chapter 2, verse 11 to 13. If Satan could manipulate Moses' body, he could lead Israel completely away from God, perhaps even turning them against Joshua, the new leader God had appointed. But God had foreseen this plot and sent Michael to stop it. In the unseen realm, Michael and Lucifer clashed. This was no ordinary battle. It wasn't fought with swords of steel or spears of iron. This was a battle of authority, a battle of who had the right to claim Moses' body. Michael could have engaged Lucifer in combat. He could have fought him as he had done before when casting Satan out of heaven, Revelation chapter 12, verse 7 to 9. But instead, Michael did something powerful, something unexpected. He did not rebuke Satan in his own strength. Instead, he said just 4 words, "The Lord rebuke you." Why is this important? Because even the mighty Michael, the general of heaven's armies, knew that authority belongs to God alone. If Michael had fought in his own strength, he might have fallen into Satan's trap, believing that power comes from oneself rather than from God. Instead, Michael stood under divine authority, calling upon the Lord himself to issue the rebuke. And at that moment, Satan lost. Moses' body remained hidden. Lucifer's plan was destroyed. And the battle that could have changed the course of Israel's future was won, not by might, not by power, but by the authority of God. But what does this battle mean for us today? And why does it matter? We have uncovered the cosmic battle between Michael and Lucifer over the body of Moses. But what if I told you there are ancient texts that provide even deeper insights into this mysterious event? Beyond what we read in Jude chapter 1, verse 9, there exists an ancient Jewish text known as the Testament of Moses, a work that has fascinated biblical scholars and historians for centuries. The Testament of Moses, also referred to as the Assumption of Moses, is a Jewish writing that reportedly preserves Moses' final words to Joshua before his death. While fragments of this text exist today, early church fathers like Origen and Clement of Alexandria reference an extended version that contained details about a celestial battle over Moses' body, details that seem to confirm Jude's account. What does this tell us? It suggests that Jewish traditions long preserved knowledge of Satan's attempt to claim Moses, an event so significant that even early Christian scholars recognize its importance. But why was this event so critical in the grand scheme of spiritual warfare? For that answer, we must look to another place in Scripture. The Bible does not mention Michael very often, but when it does, he is always engaged in spiritual warfare against dark forces. One of the most fascinating examples is found in Daniel chapter 10, where Daniel had been praying and fasting for 21 days, seeking a revelation from God. Finally, an angel appeared to Daniel and revealed something shocking. Daniel chapter 10, verse 12 to 13. From the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left there with the kings of Persia. Did you catch that? The angel was delayed for 21 days because of a demonic force, the prince of Persia. It was only when Michael arrived that the battle shifted, and the angel was able to break through to deliver God's message to Daniel. This passage reveals something deeply important. Michael is a warrior angel, engaged in battles we cannot see. There are territorial spirits ruling over nations, influencing events on earth. The enemy fights to block divine messages from reaching God's people. The battle between Michael and Lucifer over Moses' body fits into this larger pattern of spiritual warfare. Could it be that Moses, one of the most important figures in biblical history, was seen as a powerful spiritual key that Satan wanted to control? Moses was no ordinary man. He was the one God spoke to directly. Exodus chapter 33, verse 11. He was the mediator between Israel and God. He was the one who led God's people out of slavery. In many ways, Moses' life was a shadow of Christ, a symbolic precursor to the Messiah. Consider the parallels. Moses led the Israelites out of physical bondage in Egypt, just as Jesus leads us out of spiritual bondage to sin. Moses fasted for 40 days on Mount Sinai, just as Jesus fasted for 40 days in the wilderness. Moses performed miraculous signs, just as Jesus performed miracles to reveal the power of God. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Both Moses and Jesus had mysterious deaths. Moses died, but his burial was hidden by God. Jesus died, but his resurrection was hidden from his enemies until the appointed time. Could this be why Satan fought so hard to take Moses' body? Was he trying to corrupt a foreshadowing of Christ, knowing that Moses' life pointed directly to the coming of the Messiah? Could Satan have been trying to interrupt God's divine plan by using Moses' body for deception? We don't know all the answers, but one thing is clear. Michael fought for Moses' body, not just to protect it, but to preserve God's plan. And this battle reminds us of something crucial. The enemy is always fighting to corrupt what God has established, but the authority of God always wins. But what does all of this mean for us today? How does the battle between Michael and Lucifer connect to the spiritual warfare we face in our own lives? So, we have uncovered the hidden battle between Michael and Lucifer over Moses' body, a fight that goes beyond the physical world and into the realm of spiritual warfare. But why does this ancient conflict matter to us today? What lessons can we take from it? The truth is, this battle was never just about Moses. It was a foreshadowing of the cosmic war between good and evil, one that continues even now in our everyday lives. The same Satan who tried to claim Moses' body is still fighting today, not for bodies, but for souls. He fought to corrupt Moses' legacy, just as he fights to corrupt our faith. He tried to deceive and distort, just as he seeks to deceive people away from God. He sought to take what belonged to God, just as he tries to steal, kill, and destroy the destiny of God's people. This is why the Bible warns us in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, "Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary the devil prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour." Satan is not a myth. He is an enemy who actively looks for opportunities to corrupt, to claim, and to control. Just as he tried to take Moses' body, he wants to take you, to pull you into sin, doubt, and destruction. But the good news? We are not defenseless. How we can rebuke Satan like Michael did? Remember, when Michael faced Satan, he didn't fight in his own strength. He didn't rely on his own power. Instead, he rebuked Satan in the name of the Lord. Jude chapter 1 verse 9 tells us, Michael the Archangel, when he disputed with the devil and argued about the body of Moses, did not dare pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." Why is this important? Because Michael knew something that we must never forget. Spiritual battles are not won by human strength. They are won by God's authority. This is why Jesus himself gave believers the power to rebuke Satan in his name. Luke chapter 10 verse 19. "Behold, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you." Did you hear that? Jesus has given us authority over the enemy. This means that when Satan tries to attack you with temptation, with lies, with fear, with doubt, you don't have to fight in your own strength. Like Michael, you can stand firm and say, "The Lord rebuke you, Satan." Not by our power, not by our might, but by the name of Jesus, which is above every name. And here's where it all comes together. Why Moses? Why did Satan fight for his body? Because Moses represented something greater. He was the mediator of the old covenant. Moses brought the law. Moses led the people of Israel. Moses spoke with God on the mountain. But what Moses started, Jesus fulfilled. Moses led people out of Egypt, but Jesus leads people out of sin. Moses delivered the 10 Commandments, but Jesus delivered the new covenant of grace. Moses interceded for Israel, but Jesus intercedes for all humanity. Satan wanted Moses because he represented God's plan, but God had already won. And now we stand not under the law of Moses, but under the grace of Christ. So what does all of this mean for you today? It means that the same God who fought for Moses fights for you. The same Michael who rebuked Satan stands in the heavenly realms battling for God's people. And most importantly, the same Jesus who conquered death has given you authority over the enemy. The battle is real, the war is raging, but in the end, God always wins. But now the final question remains. What can you do to stand strong in spiritual warfare? So now we've unraveled the mystery, a battle hidden for thousands of years, a cosmic war over the body of Moses. We explored why his burial was a secret. We uncovered Satan's plan and his claim over Moses. And we witnessed how Michael the Archangel stood firm, rebuking the devil in the name of the Lord. This wasn't just about Moses. It was about spiritual warfare. It was about God's authority, and it was a foreshadowing of the greater battle, one that continues to this day. But now I leave you with this final question. Why do you think Satan wanted Moses' body? Was it to corrupt his legacy? To deceive Israel? Or was it something even more dark? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's dig deep into this mystery together. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden battles in the Bible, then don't stop here. Hit the like button. It helps spread God's truth to more people. Subscribe for more deep dive Bible mysteries that reveal hidden truths. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next powerful revelation. Because in our next video, we will uncover another shocking event in biblical history. One that will change the way you see the Bible forever. Until then, stay strong, stay watchful, and remember, the battle belongs to the Lord.